Hello, we are live. It's 11 o'clock Wednesday morning here on the Central Coast. I'm about, for those who don't know, about an hour and a half north of Sydney on the east coast of Australia. So if you're watching from overseas, that's fine. Still pop in, say hello. Please comment so I know you're here. And I'm going to show you a couple of new things today and a couple of things that are retiring and going soon that I would like to play with while I still can. So please pop in and say hello. It is beautiful here today. A bit cold in the mornings now. It's definitely getting towards winter. And our new house, which was beautiful really and cool in summer, is quite cold in winter. So I've got the heater on in my craft room and the door closed to keep the heat in, and the cat has just come in and sat underneath my chair. Look, here he is. Can you see him down there? Where is he? There he is. so yeah, we are keeping warm and it's sunny, and he likes to be under my chair most of the time. He was my husband's actually on night shift at the moment, and he was he's asleep in the room next door, about to get up and go to an appointment, but the cat's been sleeping on his bed, and now I notice he can hear my voice and he's come in here. So okay, but let's get started. Let's do some stuff together. I am going to go through first of all something this morning that is retiring that I really want to play with, and that is the gorgeous Music from the Heart stamp set. Oh, we've got the street sweepers coming by and making a bit of noise. So I hope that isn't too noisy. But yeah, this is the Music from the Heart stamps, and I hope you can see those. These are lovely, and they're actually pretty clever. I just made a card with it this morning. I'll show it to you. It's a simple card, but I like how it turned out. I used the splatter stamp from that's the small splatter from the Painted Poppies stamp set that I matched up with this, and I just embossed that in silver. And the guitar is also from the Music from the Heart stamp set. So you're thinking, hang on a second, where's the guitar? Well, it's a bit clever. I'll show you how you do it, and that's what one of the things I'm going to show you. See the treble clef down here? If you add the guitar arm that's near my fingers there to the treble clef, you get the guitar. Isn't that cool? I think that's really, really clever. And you've got the little heart in the middle, which I've coloured in with my Real Red Stampin' Blends. And I've also used the tufted embossing folder. See the one here that I've always had this described as looking like little pillows. That's also retiring. That's not going into the new catalogue, so that's a bit sad because I really like that one. But that's okay. These things don't stay around forever, and once I got over the initial, when I was first a demonstrator, I was devastated when my favourite things would retire or discontinue. Now I just get excited because it means I'll have more room for new stuff. And I realise that things go around, you know. So even though we're losing this music set, there'll be another music set in the future for sure. But if you do love this set, grab it while you can. Oh, I didn't check to see if it's one of the things that's on the sold out list. Oh well, let's play with it anyway and have a bit of fun, and let me show you, if you do already have it, how to use it. Okay, so let's pop the phone in the holder. I'm just going to adjust it. I had it adjusted up higher for when I did my I'm just going to pop the phone right there for a second and adjust this, because I had it set up differently for when I did my unboxing the other day. Did anyone see me open my new box of goodies? I'm going to play with a few goodies today for you as well. But let's put this phone in the holder and see how we go. I'm switching the phone around. Okay. How are we doing? We do get the shadow, unfortunately. Let me see if I can adjust that. The shadow from the stand when the sun comes out, earlier, if I'd started my video half an hour earlier, the weather was perfect. There was clouds in the sky, so I didn't have this shadow, and it was just right. But now the sun's come out, and I've got the shadow. So here's this little card that I made this morning. I'm actually going to show you how you get the guitar, and I'm going to use the treble clef, and I'm going to use the guitar arm, and let's bring those in. So this is the treble clef here. I've already got it on the block. And then I've got the guitar arm, which is this one here. It's a great little set. It's only $30, this set. It's a really good one, and there are 19 stamps in the set. It is one of the $1 Million Achievers set. I should have looked up to see who the $1 Million person was that designed it. So basically, when you sell $1 million worth of products in your currency with Stampin' Up, you get to go into head office and do a whole bunch of things. But one of the things you get to do is help design your own stamp set. So your concept, and you work with the artists in the team to actually design a set that is, I guess, kind of feels like yours. And I'm hoping I'll get to do that one day. I'm not quite up there yet, but I'm working on it. And thank you to everyone who has ever helped me by placing an order, so you can help me work on it too. So I'm going to use a bit of Whisper White cardstock. Let me see, I want to put this here so it's not in the shadow. And I'm going to use Memento. Memento is the one I always use. If I'm going to use blends, which I am, then I always use Memento ink. If I'm going to do watercolouring, then I always use StazOn ink. So it depends on what you want to colour with as to which one you want to use. I'm putting my treble clef on an angle. Can you see that there? And then I'm going to bring in the guitar arm. And you want to join it, so the top of it, the side here, joins to this round edge. Can you see how it goes? How it makes the guitar? That's cool. And then you just have it so that you can't see the ends. There we go, just like that. I think that's really clever. So this end is sort of hidden here, and the other end is hidden on here. And I think that's really, really a clever design. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my blends. I've got Real Red, but you could use any colour you like. And I'm going to use the dark one first to colour in the bottom of my heart. And I'm going to blend that towards the top with my light. Just remember when you're using blends to press so softly. It's almost like you're floating the tip of the brush over the paper. Don't actually rub it on the paper, and they will last you for a lot longer. If you push too hard, it's actually really easy to damage the tips of your pens. Now I think that's really, really super cute. What do you think? Love it. So then we could add all kinds of other things. Now I'm just going to go really, really simple, just a bit of simple stamping with this. We've got all these other, you've got, you know, we've got a keyboard here, maybe we could add that. We have a grand piano, and the grand piano has, the top of the grand piano is also a heart shape, which looks great coloured in. We have some little birdies, and we have some musical notes. So I'm just going to randomly stamp a few things. Here we have the stave. And let me pop that down. Just going to use my Memento ink again. So this is just a really simple stamped card. I'm not going to do anything particularly fancy with it. See how there's not as much shadow now because the sun's gone behind a cloud. Over here, I can hear my cat snoring. You probably can't hear him, but he's snoring. He's such a funny cat. I'm using my grid paper to kind of keep this relatively straight. What else we got here that would look good with these? Let's add some musical notes. I'm adding them randomly. I'm not making them actually, I'm not making music here. I'm just using and then there's also some single notes. I might add which one will I use? Use one of these guys. I'm grabbing just a little A block this time. I need to get myself some more blocks because I don't have, I have 2 of most of the blocks but not all of them. And I just noticed that I didn't stamp that very well. And let's see if I can actually re-stamp this. Oh, pretty good. That's the good thing about photopolymer stamps. You can stamp again and you've got a pretty good chance of getting it right if you're careful. Now, I'm going to put that little A block stamp back on the block. And I've got some little birdies which I really, really like. And I'm going to stamp them in black as well. And there's actually a birdie that's flying the other way, so I might use that one for... Isn't this a cute little set though? I just love it. And I will miss it. It's been a set that I haven't used as much as I should have. I found I really, really loved it, but just didn't get the time to... So all we're doing is just some really, really simple stamping. And you could add all kinds of things. I mean, I've got, you know, I could add, but I'm not going to. I actually really quite like it the way it's looking. And I'm deciding whether I'm going to add anything else. See the 3 little birdies? There's 3 different styles of birds. So you've got one that's flying and 2 that are standing. And I've got them standing on the stave there. Well, we need shall we have just a note? That's kind of cute. On this one I used You Rock, which is from the same set as well, which I thought was cute. You're the Music in My Heart, that's really nice. But if I only want to stamp it and I don't want to put it on a separate piece, then I'm going to need to use something smaller. I mean, just a note of thanks. You could have the of thanks inside. So I might go with just a note because that's just a really all-purpose kind of a greeting. So let's do that. Sorry about the back of my head. I'm just bringing it in so I make sure I'm straight. There we go, just a note. And because I feel like it needs something, I'm going to, there's also a little heart in here which is really, really sweet. There's my birdie. And it is music from the heart, isn't it? So I'm going to bring in some real red ink. And this will match up with the heart that's in the middle here. You could have as many of those as you like, but I'm just going to have a couple of little guys there. Of course, if I wanted to, I could go crazy and add embossing and all kinds of things, but just for the purpose of this little, oh, and I've managed to get a bit of a smudge there, so that's where we get in here with another heart. And we add that down here. There we go. Cover up smudge. Oh, I've got a smudge up here too. I do this all the time, guys. Never mind. It's okay. I still think it's really pretty. And then I could add that to a card base. You know, maybe a red card base on something like that. which would look really, really cute. I could add some ribbon, but it's just really simple stamping, and sometimes simple stamping is all you need. I mean, here's another one. This is something new the other day. Some of you may have seen I posted the finished card. That's just simple stamping once again. And this is a new stamp set we have coming called Blossoms in Bloom, which I'm really, really liking. I turned that panel into a card. There's the finished card, but you don't have to be as fancy as that. You could stick with the simple stamping if you like. I did use this Coastal Weave embossing folder. That one is also retiring, so that one's going. If you love that one, it's in the mini catalogue, and it goes with the Tropical Oasis bundle, and but it's going to be leaving us, which is very sad because it hasn't been around very long. Alright, pop these back away, and I'm going to show you something new. So I've showed you something that's retiring. Both the Music from the Heart stamp set and the Tufted embossing folder are going. You might notice on this card I also use some of this gorgeous glitter, black glitter organdy ribbon. That's just beautiful. This one is not retiring. It is going to be in our new catalogue. So I'm really happy because this is one of my favourite ribbons. It's got that gorgeous silver glitter in it, silver and gold I think, and it's just beautiful. So happy that's staying. Get to play with it for a little bit more yet. Alright, pop these away, and the rest can go later. I love that Just a Note stamp. I just think that's beautiful. Okay, so some of you may have seen I've been playing with this. Okay, this is a new set that's coming, and it's called, appropriately, Jar of Flowers. Okay, and it is a bundle. It matches up with the jar punch. Alright, so this is really, really cool. There's so many things you can do with this. I have loads and loads of plans for it, but I wanted to show you how you go about getting the, I don't know if you can see this. I'll bring it up a little closer. Hi Linda, hi Lorraine and Tracy, how are you guys going? I want to show you how I did this. Okay, so if you can see there's a shine on it, can you see that? It is actually a window sheet, alright? And the window sheets are our acetate pieces, and I just think that really adds to it by adding that extra layer. So I've done this on a couple of cards. So here's another one that I posted, this one here, and that's just really simple. This one I use blends to colour, and I did what was called no line colouring, so you actually use a really, really light colour and then colour over it so you can barely see the lines. It gives you a totally different effect, whereas this one I've used StazOn ink and then used watercolours. Okay, so they look really, really different, don't they? Totally different kind of style. This one with the no line colouring, and this one obviously you can see the lines because I did them in black, but then I coloured over them with watercolours. So a couple of totally different treatments, but I basically did the jar the same way both times, and I want to show you how you do that. So in this set we have a few really, really useful stamps. I'm using this one, which is the stems. After I posted this one, okay, so here you can see the stems through my jar, but this one totally forgot to stamp the stems and realized afterwards, after I posted it, I'm not gonna worry about redoing it. I'll just do it right next time. But you can see I forgot to put the stems in, which means it's like my flowers are just floating up there on top of the jar, because you can see the jar, you can see the water in the jar, but there's no stems. So I totally forgot about that. Still looks cute anyway, and no one seemed to complain about it. This one though, you can see the stems, and I think the stems look really good. So let's no one's perfect, right? Alright, so I've got my jar here. You can see it. It's a really cool stamp actually. I really, really, really like this stamp. And I have got a lot of plans. Not all of them have got to do with flowers, but you wait till you see some of the ideas I've got for this jar. Can't wait to show you. Right, so you can see there's the sunflowers. The first one I did was the the roses, and then there's some tulips, and there's, I'm not sure what these flowers are, some sort of, don't know, actually. So let's look at them. Can you see them here? They've actually got them here. So there's your roses. These are the ones that I'm talking about. I'm not sure what kind of flowers these are. If anyone has any suggestions, that would be great. Tulips, definitely, and sunflowers. They're easy. Okay, there's also a lid. I haven't used the lid yet, but you can put a lid on your jar as well. And then you've got your jar, and you've got a smaller, like a tumbler, and then you've got a stripy strip, which is kind of cool. So anyway, I might just go with the sunflowers today because they're easy to see, and I've already done those previously. I'll put them on a stamp. Oh, sorry, on a block. There we go. Alright, so I am going to need a couple of other stamps, but let's bring in a piece of white. Okay, I'm doing everything on white today, aren't I? So I want my my jar to be down here, and that's going to leave me some room over to add a sentiment of some kind. Now I'm not actually going to stamp my jar onto here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stamp my jar on a piece of acetate. So I've got my window sheets here. You can see I've previously cut the jars. What is good about this is that there's no issues at all with punching out of the acetate with this punch. I've been using mine quite successfully. I am going to use StazOn ink because when you're working on acetate you need something that's going to be able to work on a non-porous surface. So I'm using StazOn black. You could also use, if you wanted it to be a bit softer, you could use the StazOn brown that we also have. So the saddle brown, that would also work. Any StazOn ink is going to work. And you want to put your jar right down towards the bottom so you can reach in easily with the punch. So I'm just going to make sure I get good contact with that and then peel it off. And there's my jar on my acetate. Can you see that there? Can everyone see that okay? They could be pansies, Tracy, but I don't think so. Yeah, the no line card looks good, doesn't it? I haven't done nearly enough of that technique. Now the good thing about StazOn is it dries really, really quickly. You don't need to give it very long to dry. I mean, I can see that's probably tiny bit still wet, but it dries almost immediately. So a few seconds is usually fine. And then I'm going to reach in here with my punch and I'm going to make sure I'm lining that up well. And then I'm going to punch it through. Okay, as you can see, no troubles at all punching that out. It's a really good punch, actually. Isn't that cool? So this is my, and it doesn't matter which side of it you use, the side you stamped on or the reverse, it really doesn't make a lot of difference. But it is going to end up here on my card, okay? Now there's a couple of things I want to do first. I have realised that these, like some of our stamps these days, are reversible. And so we've got the smaller tumbler here, which you could also cut a similar shape out of. You could use the same punch and then chop it off at the top. Instead though, if you use the reverse side, you can use this for your water. So I'm putting it so that the line drawing side is down towards my block, so the back of the stamp is just a solid piece, okay? And I'm going to use, a good colour for this is Pool Party. It kind of gives the impression of water. And I'm going to stamp that onto here. You can see it's quite strong, and I did that on purpose because I don't want it that dark. And I'm going to put it down here on my piece. Okay, can you see that there? I didn't quite stamp all the piece off here, but I'm not worried about that. So I have a lighter blue, and that's going to be my water. Then I've got my stems, okay, and I'm going to do those in Mossy Meadow ink. Mossy Meadow is a good neutral green. If ever you're looking for a great green that's going to go with everything, Mossy Meadow is, in my opinion, the most useful one we have, and I believe that's why they put it in the neutrals. It is in the neutral colour family because it goes with so much. And it's great for you know, all kinds of greenery and stems and all kinds of things, and that's what I'm using it for here. Right, so we've got like one, I hope you can see this, like a solid edge here, and then you can actually see the bottoms of the stems on this end. That's the bottom, and then this top bit is going to be covered up by the flowers. So I'm putting this, I'm going to just bring my head in for a second and make sure that I'm getting it in the right spot, so my apologies. I'm putting it up slightly from the bottom. I'll show you what I mean. So you can see that the bottom of the jar goes around below this. Okay, you want to make sure that the stems aren't sticking out the bottom of the water. And then when you end up lining this with the water, you can see how this appears. Okay, so now it looks like we have stems and we actually have water in our jar. As far as sticking this on, I use glue dots, and I do a couple of things. First of all, I put a glue dot up the top here, and you can see that glue dot quite easily. That's okay. That's where we're going to stick a ribbon, a bow, and cover that up. The other bit I put down underneath these lines, and it doesn't end up being visible when you add it over the top of the stems and the top of the water. You end up not being able to see it. So it's actually quite hard to see the one that's down here. I don't know if you can see this. You can, if you look really hard, you can see it. But everyone's going to be looking at the top of the beautiful flowers, so we're not too worried about that. Okay, you could cut the glue dot into a smaller piece if you were worried about that, but I'm actually not. No one had noticed the glue dots on my other creations. I'll end up sticking a bow here. Now, totally up to you. You could have these sitting at the top, or you can have them, if you want to cut them out like I did. I did them on white paper and then cut around them and put them over the top. That's going to also hide your glue dot as well. You can have them coming down a little bit over the top of the jar. But if you want the top of the jar showing, what I'll do is just deciding. Okay, I'll watercolor these ones today, so I'm going to use my StazOn again. Watercoloring is just a bit quicker for the purposes of the video than the blends. Okay, got my StazOn there, and I need to bring my head in over the top here again, and I'm putting these right at the top of the jar. Making sure I get good contact, because I need this to be a nice strong stamp. Oh, and it didn't work. Oh goodness. Okay. Right, let's try that again. This could be interesting. I could be about to mess this up completely. I should have re-inked this before I started. And in fact, I'm going to quickly, I have two StazOns, and I'm just thinking, I thought this is the one I inked up last night, but I'm thinking it isn't. Let's see if I get a better contact on here. Yeah, it's not the one I re-inked, guys. So, let me bring in the other one. That's the only problem with having two things. And guess what we'll do? If we mess this up completely, if I can't line that up and get a good image, I'll be cutting it out and sticking it over the top. But you're getting the idea anyway, and I hope you really know what I mean about getting the jar and then putting the water in the jar. I just think it's so clever. Such a clever stamp. Let's see if this one works better. This should be the one I re-inked. Yep, that's much better. Just picked up the wrong one. Silly me. And I do have StazOn re-inker here if I need to add some more. Alright, let's see if I'm about to mess this up completely. If I do, I'll be sticking one over the top because I'm happy with the bottom. Oh yeah, it's like finding it a bit tricky to line up. see how accurate I am. Who else messes up these things sometimes? Look at that. That's pretty good. Woohoo, go me. That's pretty good, guys. I'm actually really happy with that. It's ever so slightly off, but it actually just made it have a like a more distinct line. So actually it looks good. Right. Phew. That's okay. I don't mind you guys watching me mess up sometimes. Okay, I'm bringing in an aqua pen. And I'm going to start with the leaves. I'm just using a bit of Mossy Meadow with my aqua pen. And I'm just going to come in here. If you look really closely, I did miss slightly, but it's so close. I think this is meant to be a flower, but I'm calling it leaves. I'll add some green here and there. A bit of green always looks good. And now we have a new colour coming, which I would love to use. It's a yellow called Bumblebee. Oh my goodness, isn't that a cute name for a colour? Love, love, love that. But it's not available yet. So we should be able to order that at the same time as customers, which will be the 3rd of June. Right, I'm using some crushed curry in the meantime. I cannot wait to get my hands on some Bumblebee. There goes my husband on his way to his appointment. He's off to the chiropractor. He has a very good friendship with the chiropractor actually, which is really nice. I think he really enjoys going to see her more as a social visit. I'm just going to get a little bit more yellow on here. I find I get best results from watercolouring when I'm really, really rough with the watercolouring. I just really like, I'm now using terracotta tile because it's a nice rusty orangey colour that is just beautiful for these kind of colourings. Shall we go? Yeah, let's just add a terracotta tile little flower down here. And maybe a little bit over here too. Now, as for covering up this glue dot, here's a couple of options. This is a new ribbon that's coming. This one is the, I think it's Bumblebee. I think this colour is the Bumblebee. And that looks really nice. And that's what I used on here. See how nice that looks? Also, another great option is the white crinkled seam binding ribbon. That one's available now. Love this ribbon. You can colour it, you can do all kinds of things with it. It is so cool. But because I've got this one out and it's a bit of fun and it's new, I'm going to actually just tie a bow with it. You can see it's actually really easy to tie. And I think a really little bow looks lovely on this jar. Just a really tiny one. So I'm pulling it nice and small. And tightening it up as I go. And then I'm just going to use my ribbon scissors. I so wish Stampin' Up! Sold these scissors. They used to. And they were the best scissors ever for ribbon. Okay, pretty happy with that little bow. If you're wondering why I made this go off to one side, that's because I quite like things to be offset, but also I like to have space to write something or put a sentiment or something like that. So there you go, that's how that's looking. Isn't that cute? And then I'll add a sentiment and I'll turn this into a card. And we have some beautiful paper that matches this set. It's part of the same suite. I showed all these things on my unboxing video the other day. If you haven't seen that, go and have a look at everything that I got in my new box. So you will see all of those things. Every single thing you saw in that box will be used on cards at some point or another. So these are the matching stamps, and these are also all new in colours. So the blue is called Misty Moonlight, the yellow is the Bumblebee, the pink is called Magenta Madness. What else are we missing? The green is just Jade, and the brownie tone, this tanny colour, is called Cinnamon Cider. Okay, these are our new in colours for the next 2 years. Aren't they gorgeous? So lots of yellow, there's pinks, blues, browns, greens. It's a really great group of colours, and they go beautifully together. So really looking forward to playing with them and doing lots of things with them. I love this yellow, the Bumblebee in this colour here. I just think that's stunning, and I can't wait to, I want to make a card with that actually. In fact, there's a piece right there, and this might look really, really nice. Or maybe I'll put a piece of that down the side. Isn't that nice? Love it. Awesome, awesome yellow. So, yeah, this colour goes really nicely in with there. See how lovely that looks? Alright, so there's so many good fun things coming. I think you're going to love it all. In the meantime, make sure you're across that retired list. Don't miss anything that's leaving. The one thing I'm really sad that's leaving is this. Oh my goodness, I'm going to miss this punch. Well, actually, there's a few things I'm going to miss. I'm going to miss my glimmer paper too, but that's already gone. As far as I know, the leaf punch is still available. This is such a versatile punch. I used it on scrapbooking pages. I used it on cards. I used it on everything, and it's really sad that it's going to be leaving us. I was going to make a bad pun then, but I really shouldn't. I shouldn't say it's going to be leafing us. Oh dear, that's very bad. I'm sorry. It's like a dad joke, but worse. Okay, so I hope you guys have got lots of fun, cool things to do today. Don't forget my online class I've got running at the moment with the Perennial Essence Suite. Those cards I think are beautiful. And I cannot wait for lots of people to make them. All you got to do to be in the class, if you're in Australia, just place an order and use the class code. That's it. Any size order. I'm not making minimums because I know a lot of people are doing it a little bit tough right now with a lot of people out of work and all that kind of stuff. So if any order at all, that will support my business, but it also means that you guys get a class, which is fantastic. You get the private video tutorial link. I email that to you, and I then send to you in the post all of the materials you need to put the cards together. You don't even need to have the stamps to do that if you don't wish to own those stamp sets. So you just make them up. They all come out. All the die cut shapes and the punches and everything are all in there as well. You don't have to own any of those things. So I hope you had fun looking at my couple of cards today. I think this is a bit of fun. I have managed to get a few smudges on this, so I may add some embossing to this to finish it off, because then if I add some embossing, some little splotches like these ones, like these, I can add some splotches in the bits where the blobs are, and that way it will cover up all of those. So I just think sometimes simple stamping when you're in a hurry, that's all you want. You just want to do, and I love the way this treble clef turns into a guitar. If you missed that, go back and watch how it's done. It's really, really cute. So there we go. Have a fantastic day, guys. All the very best, and stay tuned. I've got lots more to show you over the coming days. Keep well. Bye-bye.